It's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's sourdough. Hey, it's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's also a show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Breaking Bread with Tom Papa. So good to have you here on another glorious, glorious day. We have a very talented chef and restaurateur, Marc Forgione, who is a great guy. Spent a good amount of time with him. He's got amazing restaurants in New York, and we're lucky to have him, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. I would like to thank the good people at Helix Sleep for sponsoring today's show. Helix Sleep, you can take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to a mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. I sleep on a Helix mattress, and I have to say, it's been over a year now, and it has changed my life. I know some of you are sleeping on some saggy old mattresses at night, and you deserve better than that, so give yourself an upgrade. Find your perfect mattress at helixsleep.com/papa. Take their sleep quiz. You can't lose. Put in your little information and see what kind of mattress you need. Also, would like to thank the good people at Sunday Lawn Care. Spring is here. Everything is bursting. I was touring back east, and finally the east is catching up to the west, and things are starting to grow again. We're so close to feeling that soft grass under our feet, but first we need our own lawn back. Thankfully, Sunday Lawn Care gets your lawn growing and helps to keep it healthy all season long. Sunday is offering our listeners 20% off. Not too shabby. 20% off full season plans starting at $129. Get 20% off at checkout when you visit getsunday.com/bread. That's getsunday.com/bread! Exclamation point. BREAD, because they know we love bread. Great company. Also, like to thank the good people at BetterHelp. This podcast is sponsored by the good people at BetterHelp Online Therapy. They offer video, phone, and even live chat sessions with our therapists. See why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp. Listeners, get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/papa. That's BETTERHELP. betterhelp.com/papa. So I just got back home. I have been slamming, doing shows all over this great land of ours, and have been I can't even. I want to now that I'm coming out the other side of it. I want to add up how many flights there, because I distinctly remember it's all kind of vague, kids. It's all kind of vague, but at 2 separate times over the last couple of months have said to my friends something like, I've been on 16 flights in the last 8 days. Comments like that. I've been in so many hotel rooms. I've been so many places. All great. The shows have been amazing. Getting out, hearing from all of you who've been listeners to the podcast and coming out and hanging live, and when I sign books at the end of the show, getting to actually talk to you all has been such a cool thing. Totally enjoyable, but it's been a hustle and a bit of a grind at the end. I started to get weary. I only really get weary when I got to drive, when you throw driving into the mix. If I've got to land someplace, like I was in Cleveland and then rocked out 5 shows there. So great, all sold out, beautiful people. Hilarities, one of the best clubs in the country. Just great. Next night, I had to be in Cincinnati for a private event. And not a huge drive, 3.5 hours. Beautiful country. But just that grind of driving a little bit extra, that put me in a tired state by the time I got to Cincinnati. Cool town, weary. Got in, meditated, which always revives me. I wasn't really firing off on all cylinders. It did the trick. It stopped me from from passing out, but it did kind of mentally wake me up, as it always does. It's always a very reliable thing. I can't recommend TM enough. But then I was like, all right, so what do I do? It's Sunday. I don't have the show tonight. The show's the next night. What am I going to do? Am I just going to get some more salty snacks and sit in my room? How am I going to play this? And I remembered I did a private event with Chris Collinsworth and his family in Cincinnati. It was 5 years ago. Great charity, great organization that his family runs, helps a lot of people. Did the show and then got invited to go to dinner with him and his family at this steakhouse called Jeff Ruby's. And I was feeling nostalgic and weary, and I said, I deserve to eat something decent. I was literally down to 1 or 2 meals a day on the road throughout Cleveland and places, and not eating much, not treating much, just going to work, which is fine. It was like I'm a comedy monk out there sometimes, just focusing on the job at hand and fitting meals in between. But now it's a Sunday, like I said, around 5 o'clock, 4:30 even, and that place, that memory comes into mind. We had such a great night that time. I mean, how could it be any cooler than sitting with the voice of the NFL, Chris Collinsworth, and having a great meal at this great place? It was a dream. So I said, okay, so it's Sunday. I'm rolling over there myself. It's not far from my hotel. Let's go solo, and let's eat like a king. And I went out, just no reservation, just walked up several blocks, found the place, went inside. What a good move. What a great move. So once in a while, you see, we all love eating with people. We all love breaking bread with lots of people. We like getting to know people and discuss and do things. But once in a while, not even at the bar, I'll take a nice table, and they brought me over. And this is why places like this stick around. That place has been around for a long time. The staff has changed from the time I was there last. The cooks probably changed. I don't know if the head chef is the same or not. But it's reliable. You go and you sit at this place, you sit down, order an ice cold martini, and the whole orchestra starts to play. The ice cold martini is great. The server was amazing. We agreed and talked, and I knew exactly what notes I wanted to hit, and we slowed the whole thing down, not to rush and be slamming with a bunch of food and then out on the street. And I just sat by myself, observing the other couples, watching everybody enjoy themselves. And it was early enough where we were seeing the place come to life. And I had these amazing oysters Rockefeller. Came out, it looked like it was too big. You may have seen it. I posted it on Instagram. Ate the whole thing, just perfect with a martini. As the first martini was completed, they bring that out. And it was like, I thought I was going to go to wine, but no, this really, probably shouldn't have 2 martinis, but let's do it. It's just too perfect with the oysters. And it was heavenly. Followed by a classic wedge, which you have to do in a steakhouse. Then this barrel cut filet came out with this crazy potatoes on the side. I'm forgetting the name of the potatoes, but it was special. They were kind of sliced and then put into a pancake. Oh my God. It was one of those meals, one of those pound the table meals when you're just enjoying it so much you're actually and just banging on the table by myself. And everything was great. The guy coming up, the guy clearing, the woman who was seating everybody, the manager coming by. It was all just so great. It felt like family. I was by myself, and when I dumped out of that place, I felt completely restored. I was like, I could travel the rest of my days. Sure, I want to go home, but this steakhouse experience isn't at home. This will get me through. So a big thank you to everybody over there at Jeff Ruby's. A big thank you to Chris Collinsworth for turning me on to the place in the first place. And I can't endorse the ritual of that kind of experience for yourself in any level. At any level. You can go to a hot dog stand. You can go to a ball game. Just that thing of just being by yourself, catching your breath, eating alone, breaking bread with no one but yourself. Mwah. So once in a while, kids. I just do it. Today, we tag along on the culinary journey of chef and restaurateur Marc Forgione. Marc's passion and family lineage brought him through the restaurant world from sous chef to head corporate chef at BLT Group. I've had serious steaks at BLT Prime in New York. Winning season 3 of The Next Iron Chef in 2010, which made him a national household name. Going on to opening Marc Forgione in New York, along with the great story that he shares in our conversation about taking over the legendary Peasant, where I will soon be eating a fire-cooked pork dinner by myself. It really serves like 10 people, but as you'll see in this conversation, I've made arrangements. He's a very cool guy who, as you will see from our conversation, is constantly exploring, still continuing to grow, despite the responsibility of running such a successful business. And that is the real takeaway that you'll come from this conversation is it's able to grow, it's able to become successful, you're able to have your name pushed ahead on the scene, but still have that same little drive and curiosity and passion that got you into the game in the first place. You can still carry that the distance. So enjoy now my conversation with Marc Forgione. Thanks for being here, Marc.
Yeah, man. Happy to be here.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
You have beautiful places in my favorite city, and I figure I'm going to start today by starting in the present, and then we'll work our way backwards, rather than talk about your little origin story and you coming up and becoming the cool guy that you are. Give me some good vibes and good stuff that's going on in your spots right now at Peasant and Keo, because I know we're no longer showing vaccinations. You've survived all of the chaos from the 2 years of restaurant hell. How are you feeling these days?
Good, man. I hate to admit, I almost feel like a beaten animal though, where you're almost afraid to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because you're waiting for your owner to hit you again. But we feel great. The restaurants are knock on wood, they're all cranking. People are coming in and they're happy. It's funny. One of the kind of leftovers, I guess you can say, from COVID is one of the positive leftovers. Is that guests have become easier, I guess easier to please. I don't know if that's the best way to put it, but I don't know. Maybe it's maybe things got put in perspective. Maybe I shouldn't complain that the water's too wet. You know what I mean? Just because I feel like it. People, I think people have been humbled. And now they come and they sit and they're just so excited. And, even now you still have people that are this is my first dining experience. And you can't believe that there's still people that haven't been out to eat, but everybody's just happy to be sitting at a bar or, ordering food or getting service. And you know what I mean? It's you just said, people are just happy that you don't have to show ID anymore. You know what I mean? It's I know. That was to me a big, I used to hate it. It was instead of saying welcome, you were saying stop.
Right, exactly. Yeah, wait a minute. It's whenever I start off a show and they come on with the announcement and they're like, but first, put your cell phones away, shut up, sit down, behave. And then it's like, just be nice to the people.
Yes,
But
exactly.
that's good to hear, though, because, I when I'm on the road is when I really kind of felt it, like returning to some of these like nicer hotels that I would, always go, and you get room service, and now they're like scurrying up with a plastic bag with some and just throwing it in. I got this dish of really nice risotto, but it literally came in this like cup.
Yeah.
But it was great. It was like, well, this is fine. This is I think
Listen, we all adjusted, right?
yeah, no, completely. Now, did you have any scary moments where you thought maybe we're not going to pull through?
Yeah. I mean, the first year, probably. I mean, it wasn't necessarily like, I don't know if scared is the right word, but it was more like, like you just had no idea, like you felt like you were just like hanging on a trapeze. Like you'd wake up and you just say, okay, well, what's gonna happen today?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
How are we gonna get to tomorrow? And you did.
Yeah.
I think that was one thing that I preached to my staff and my family, not just work but everyone. Like, listen, let's control what we can control. Let's take one day at a time. And let's figure out how we're gonna do what we need to do today. We'll circle back in the morning.
Right, exactly.
It's like that's how it was. I mean, for a long time. So
on your Instagram, I have to say, this is a bit of a sidebar, but it seems like you're a very proud papa.
Yeah, man, he's my little dude.
Yeah.
Santino. We got lucky. He's just a joy to be around, and I think I've probably, without even realizing it, wanted to be a dad for a while, and somebody pulled me aside right before he was born and like, don't worry, you're gonna be great. You're always so paternal to everybody at work, which I never even really thought about or realized until now, I guess. So I love it. I love being a dad. So
yeah, it's cool. You had this great shot of both of your pairs of shoes. It was like, oh, that's so great, just having the little dude following you around. Did you grow up with brothers and sisters?
I did. I had two brothers and a sister.
Okay. And where did you grow up?
Long Island, Floral Park.
Nice. I grew up
Nassau County.
I grew up in the other Long Island, New Jersey.
All right. Yeah. It's so weird you just said that. I was out with a couple from Long Island and a couple from New Jersey last night, and we were joking, about how they're, whenever the two groups get together somewhere, they always argue. But the fact of it is, they're the exact same people.
I know, exactly. They're exactly the same. Yeah. I mean, you know why they're both exactly the same? Because they're both the same in that they're both not New York City.
Yeah, but like I said, it's just so funny. They fight over bagels and beaches, and it's all the same shit.
I know, exactly.
Pizza, like everything.
Yeah, exactly. What was the food like when you grew up?
My mom was a great cook.
Yeah.
My parents actually met at culinary school.
Ah, no way.
So yeah, my mom can cook. And obviously I didn't see my dad a lot because he was working,
right?
Which I can totally understand now,
right?
But we always ate like real, I hate to say real food, but real food. There was no Chef Boyardee or frozen meals coming out of the freezer.
Yeah.
Which I always thought funny when I ate over at people's houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom's a great cook. Don't get me wrong, we would eat fast food every once in a while too. I mean, it wasn't like, wasn't like a restaurant every night.
Yeah.
But we had dinner. We had dinner every night, 6:00, the whole family.
Right. Yeah.
I said, 50. I would say 9 times out of 10, my mom cooked, and every once in a while we would order it.
Right. Was it mostly Italian food? What was it?
No, my mother's not Italian.
Oh,
so,
no.
She did spaghetti meatballs was definitely in her rotation, and she makes a great meatball. Um, she would mix it up, but chicken a la keen was one of her things.
Mm-hmm.
She always did this sausage with sauerkraut and potatoes that we loved.
Oh boy.
Obviously we would do hot dogs and hamburgers.
Right.
Basic like Americana kind of food.
Yeah, feeding the kids. So at what was there a point when you in your youth that you were like started like checking food out and thinking I'm going to start
I was always attracted to the stove.
Yeah.
I think I was making my own eggs when I was, I don't know, man, I was still in grammar school.
Yeah.
I remember wanting to know how to flip stuff in the saute pan ever since I was a kid. I was small enough where we had to put a box or something next to the stove that I could stand on.
Nice.
Maybe it was because it was what my dad did. I don't know, but I always loved cooking, and even I would help my mom cook. You know what I mean? It was I was just always attracted to it from the get-go.
Yeah. Did your siblings, were they into it, or was it really your thing?
I don't think any of them were into it as much as me. My brother is actually a chef now, but I don't know if you asked him if he's always had a love of food his whole life. Probably not. But as he got older, I think he appreciated it, and he had to support his family at a very young age.
Right.
So I think he kind of got forced in the kitchen, but now he seems to love it now.
Right. Peasant. I can't remember if I was at Peasant when I was in New York, when I lived in New York a long time. And I first of all, both of your sites for your site and the Keo and Peasant, whoever does your photography is amazing. It really
I mean, we have different people for over the years, but I've been blessed to work with some great people. Michael Condren, Evan Sung, they're just really, really talented
really
photographers.
talented, man. Because a lot of times, that food doesn't really play that great, and the visuals of your stuff is amazing. It really is so good. And I wanted to Peasant. I wanted to talk about just because of fire. It's just fire. All love of all things fire. This giant stove and this the whole pig.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I mean, I don't know if you know the whole story, but it's just talk about right place, right time, said the right thing. Peasant was my favorite restaurant before I took it over, and I did an event there for the New York Food and Wine Festival. I hosted a dinner there,
right?
And I made a speech to the crowd about how much I love Peasant and how much I love and respect Frank DiCarlo, a longtime owner of it. And Frank kind of pulled me aside, made sure that I meant everything I said. And then he called me a couple of months later, and he was like, "Look, nobody knows, but I'm retiring. If you really meant everything you said,
yeah,
I don't want, in his way, I don't want it to become a Starbucks or an Apple store. There's too much blood, sweat, and tears in there.
Yeah.
I want to give it to somebody that's gonna do right by it." And he basically was like, "Do you want it?"
Wow, what a crazy call! God.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if I wasn't at that event and I didn't make that speech,
yeah,
who knows?
Who knows? Was how long was it in business before you had that night?
20 years.
Wow, man,
Yeah,
oh man,
it's crazy.
That is crazy.
And now I get to. I mean, again, I pinch myself still, when I'm leaving work. I can't fucking believe I'm just, I smell like smoke. I get in the cab. I couldn't be happy.
Yeah. Oh man.
And it's been a dream. I love cooking there. I love cooking with the fire.
Yeah.
We just did a huge event last night called Playing with Fire, where I invite guest chefs to come. And the first one was with Wiley Dufresne, which was a trip for me. I've always been such a big fan of his. Last night was with this guy Brian Ford, who's all things baking and sourdough. And
oh really? Tell me
Yeah,
about that. Tell me about that. That's my life.
it was fun, man. I mean, I got into sourdough like most chefs during lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's actually what we make our pizza dough with now.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
and he came up on our radar about somebody that could be a fun collab with, and he's from Latin America, so we actually did like a Latin American themed dinner
Ah.
last night.
Oh,
It
wow.
was a lot of fun. I think we'll start posting stuff on Instagram. You can check it out.
What was the highlights?
We started with this thing called a fougazette, which is kind of like a calzone stuffed with cheese and onions, and
Oh boy.
we did some empanadas, we did some ceviches, we did with homemade tortillas. We did an arroz con pollo with a hen and like some dirty rice.
Oh man.
And then we did these. I don't know if you've ever been to Peru, but they do these anticucho, which are like the skewers.
Oh yeah.
So we did 3 different types of belly. There was Wagyu beef, pork, and lamb,
Oh my God.
all grilled over the fire. I mean, it was fun.
Is there something when you bring these guys in? I mean, this is kind of like your origin story where you had, and it seems like it happens a lot where there's a chef and then there's a mentorship or there's just a respect for each other and you bring them in. You know, that is all set. But is there something even more profound about doing that in this setting of literally the fire? That
Well, that's
oven?
why we did it. It's like I know when I didn't have Peasant and I used to eat there.
Yeah.
I used to just sit and just with my jaw open and just look into that kitchen. I mean, it's literally like the coolest. I mean, it's like it's like an
Yeah.
iconic thing.
Right.
Like you can't build them like that now, even if you wanted to. And so we came up with this idea. Like if I had such a passion for that kitchen, I would imagine there's other guys out there
Right.
that would too. And I made
Yeah.
a couple calls, and like everybody I called were like, "Yeah, I'd love to cook in that kitchen." So
Yeah.
who knows how long we're gonna do it, but we're just gonna keep making calls, and
That's so cool.
if we have somebody for that month, they're gonna come in.
Oh, that's so great. I mean, there's something so
Next is Anita Lowe.
Anita Lowe. Where's
From
she
Anissa.
from? Oh,
She's from New York.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something
Yeah.
just so tribal about that. There's something very primitive and like, right? I mean,
Yes, yeah, and it also forces you to, you can't just like set it and forget it. You gotta like really, you gotta add the fire. You gotta adjust how you're cooking. It's like when you're searing, like for example, like when you work in like a restaurant, like at Marc Forgione, for example. When you sear the fish, like exactly how hot to get in your pan, and when
Right.
to add the fish. And when you're working over at Peasant, like the part of the grill that you had the fish on 10 minutes ago is not going to be the same temperature. So you have to, you're never stopping adjusting.
Right.
And it's such a cool, like, if you're into that sort of,
yeah.
sadomasochism, it's a cool way to cook.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Antique Bar in Hoboken?
Yep. Oh no, not in Hoboken. No,
That it's
there's one in New York.
it's this cool spot and it's a coal oven. It was it's been there since like since the early 1900s. And it's giant coal oven. It takes up
Yeah.
the whole block. It's the same thing. It's just there's like artistry and panic at the
Yeah.
at the
Yes.
same time.
Every night.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Relationships take work. A lot of us will drop anything to go help someone we care about, and we'll go out of our way to treat other people well. But how about treating ourselves well? Very similar to my story I told about the steakhouse. This month, BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to take care of the most important relationship, the one you have with yourself. Whether it's hitting the gym, making time for your haircut, or even trying therapy, you are the greatest asset. So invest the time and effort into yourself like you do for other people. We all need people to talk to once in a while. Sometimes you just need to talk it out loud. We all have stuff, great and small. It could just be little things that are nagging you. You don't even know why. You're just walking around in a mood. Or it could be issues that you really need to deal with and need someone to talk to. BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. So you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Give it a try and see why 2 million people have used BetterHelp online therapy. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Breaking Bread listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/papa. That's BetterHelp.com/papa. Our listeners get 10% off their first month. Give it a try and take care of your mental health. Also like to thank the good people at Sunday Lawn Care. If you're worried about all the chemicals you're using to keep your yard looking its best, traditional lawn care lays down 90 million pounds of pesticides each year. So, of course, you should be concerned. 90 million pounds of pesticides each year. But Sunday is different. They're on a mission to change how people care for their yards. Sunday will give you a beautiful yard and keep your family out of harm's way. Most of us might not think about our lawns in the winter, but it's time to prep for this year and keep rolling through the summer. You're probably thinking you have so much work to do to get it green and healthy again, but Sunday takes all of that work out of it for you. Sunday can help you grow a beautiful lawn without the guesswork or nasty chemicals. Their custom plans include fertilizer and everything you need to easily care for your lawn. And with ingredients like seaweed, iron, and molasses, you can feel good with kids and pets being around. All you have to do is visit getsunday.com, put in your address, and their lawn analysis does the rest. Then they use soil and climate data to create a personal nutrient plan delivered to your door when you need it. How great is this? Something safe, something good, and you still get that beautiful kick-ass lawn. Sunday is offering our listeners 20% off. Full season plans start at just $129, and you get 20% off at checkout when you go visit getsunday.com/bread. BREAD exclamation point. Go to sunday.com/bread. That's 20% off your custom plan at getsunday.com/bread. Enjoy a beautiful, beautiful lawn. And our good people at Helix Sleep. Look, I don't even have to read it, kids. I went on helixsleep.com and I took their little test. It took a couple of minutes, which was actually an enjoyable test to take because you got to put in all your preferences. I put in all my wife's preferences, what we both like about our mattress, don't like about our mattress, how we sleep, what positions we sleep in. And they gave a recommendation, and also the temperature, how if you sleep hot, if you like it cold. Put it all in, and they sent you back this perfect mattress. And then it shows up at your door. It shows up, you open it up, poof, you have a giant mattress. Mattress is one of those purchases where you don't really think about it until your back is hurting and you realize you haven't slept in 2 years. That's why the people at Helix Sleep are great. They just made it so easy. Helix Sleep has a quiz, 2 minutes, complete, and it'll give you all your preferences. They have soft, medium, and firm mattresses. Mattress is great for cooling you down if you sleep hot. Helix Plus mattress for plus-size folks. You take it, the mattress shows up, and then you're just happy. And my wife and I, who have very different preferences, are on the same mattress and loving it. Over a year. So if you're looking for a mattress, take the quiz. The mattress comes right to your door, shipped for free. You don't even need to go to a mattress store ever again, which was always a creepy thing to do anyway, laying on those weird mattresses in a store. Very unusual. A man just smoking and staring at you. They were awarded the #1 best overall mattress pick of 2020 by GQ and Wired magazine. HelixSleep.com/Papa. Take their quiz, and you get a 10-year warranty, and you get to try it for 100 nights risk-free. They'll even pick it up for you if you don't love it. You can't lose, kids. Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattresses, all orders, and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/Papa. helixsleep.com/papa. That's up to $200 off all mattress orders. helixsleep.com/papa, and just snooze away.
Trust me, every night.
Tell me about the whole pig dinner.
Yeah. So again, just kind of, taking a step back and just looking at like what we offer and what we can do. And, we love the kind of sharing kind of style of eating there anyway.
Yeah.
And we thought we'd just put it out there to see if people would be interested. And, again, we get like 4 or 5 requests a week.
Wow.
And, you get an entire pig. And
Yeah.
a couple courses, we kind of throw pork in as many things as we can just for fun.
Right.
And people love it, man. You can feed anywhere from, depending how much your party can eat. I'd recommend you, as low as you go, it'd probably be like 8 to 10 people, and you could go up as high as, 15, 16.
Wow. How big a pig? Yeah. How big a pig for 8 people?
They're usually around 10 pounds, give or take.
Where do they come from?
Upstate New York.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you have a respect, or is it one of your goals to use locally sourced stuff?
Yeah, whenever possible. I mean, it's tough with an Italian restaurant, obviously, because we get a lot of Italian products in.
Right.
But as far as like produce and seafood and the meat, we try whenever we can.
Right.
But for example, like we're using a Piedmontese beef for the tartare. And, that comes from Central America, not Central America, but Central United States.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever we can,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would say probably 85 to 90% of all the fresh stuff is local.
Right. And tell me about the other spot. With
Which one?
Keo.
Why,
is there more
Marc
than
Forgione?
one? Is there 3?
There's Marc Forgione, there's Peasant, and Keo.
I was buzzing on the Marc one, and I'm like, it seems like he's just the cool guy in the middle of all of these 2 restaurants. I didn't realize that it was your own spot. I apologize.
That's all good. Yeah, that's my first. That's we're coming up on. We opened in 2008, so it's going to be 14 years in June.
Holy cow! So you opened in 2008. When did you do Iron Chef?
2011, I believe. Yeah,
and
2011.
What did that blow things open? I mean, it was such a
we were already like doing okay. I mean, listen, I opened. There was the recession. Like it was a tough time to open.
Yeah.
And Tribeca's a tough neighborhood to crack. Trust me.
Yeah.
We were doing okay. We had a Michelin star at that point. People were starting to kind of know who I was. Mm-hmm. And then there's this stupid story. Again, you can probably Google it, but I like kicked this guy out of the restaurant that happened to be a writer for the New York Times. Yeah. And then that was kind of the stick of dynamite that like, because this guy wrote an article and it like blew up and people like, oh shit. But every time, every time people would click on it, the headline was like, Michelin star chef throws New York Times writer out. And so it was like advertisement, you know what I mean? It was like,
yes. Was it, just for our listeners, tell me why you kicked him out?
I was yelling at somebody in the kitchen, which now I'm a little older, looking back on it, probably not the best thing to do, but I was yelling at somebody. Mm-hmm. And he came into the kitchen and like basically told me to shut up. So it kind of blew up. And then what people don't realize is I didn't necessarily kick him out for that, because mm-hmm. I then came out to the table to kind of explain the situation of mm-hmm. why I was yelling, and I was actually going to apologize that, but as I like got to the table, he basically was like, I'm not interested in anything you have to say. Like, and he like kind of waved his hand in my face.
Oh boy.
So at that point I was like, well, I just came out here to apologize, but now you got to go. And like I said, it just kind of, again, kind of like Peasant, one of those right place, right moment, right
Yeah.
times, like I've had a lot of those in my life where it turned into something. And
Yeah.
um,
That moment.
next
Did
thing I
you?
know, I got a call from the Food Network, and they were like, "Hey, we're doing Next Iron Chef. We got one spot left. Do you want it?" And I laughed. I was like, "Sure." Like I didn't think in a million years I would win.
Yeah.
And then I went on the show and I won. It was like all
Yeah.
kind of history.
That's so great. Did you know he was from the Times?
No, but
This was
I would
just
have kicked him out regardless.
yeah.
He, it was very disrespectful when I went to the actual team.
Right.
So
What balls to come back into the kitchen? I mean, that's like sacred space.
yeah, I mean, listen, that too. Like I said, that was just the tip of the iceberg with the reason he got kicked out. I actually
Right.
thought it was funny. I have a feeling it wasn't the first time he got kicked out of a restaurant, because when I started to walk over to the table,
Uh,
his wife started packing up her things.
Here we go again.
Exactly.
Oh, that's amazing. Has the Times come back and reviewed your spots since then?
I got reviewed after that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a great review.
Oh, that's great. Is that funny? There really is
And
that
now I'm
thing.
actually friends with the guy who wrote the review. His name's Sam Sifty. He's not the critic anymore. But
Oh, Sam.
yeah,
Yeah, I love Sam. Sam's been on our program.
yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, he is a great
He's a
guy.
big fan of ours, and like I said, he gives a great review, which really kickstarted everything. And we have this dish called the chili lobster that he was like obsessed with.
Oh, nice.
So he's turned it into like a thing.
He's such a good writer too. I mean, I just love reading his newsletter every morning of just he's so good with words. So if he
Yeah,
shines a
I
light
agree.
on your spot, man, that's a beautiful thing.
Wish they could all be like him.
I know. Right, exactly. So when so after you start getting success, how much of it now is putting yourself out and doing your own personal publicity? You know what I mean? And how much of it is the food? Like, I mean, obviously you put your heart and soul into it. You have such distinct spots. There, you obviously have a real love of it, as I do with
Yeah, I mean,
comedy. But then all of a sudden you're like, okay, but now I got to put my big mug places. Can you sell a
well,
place without Marc, or does it help it just so much more now?
well, it's kind of like a two different answers, I think, because like I've been on both sides of it, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I was saying before, like, even before we went on the TV and all that kind of stuff, like
Yeah.
we were already established and getting established.
Hmm.
I've always said when I do interviews, I would love to know what would have happened if, because we were like kind of like
Yeah.
going that way, and
Yeah.
then that just helped, obviously.
Sure.
But I will say this, and New York, in particular, I don't care how famous you are or how much you're on TV or how many cookbooks you have or how
Hmm.
many Instagram followers you have or whatever it is.
Yeah.
In New York in particular, if you're not putting out real food, and not only putting it out, but putting it out consistently, you're not going to make it. Like
Yeah. Forget
celebrity
it.
chefs don't come to New York and
Right.
just kind of slap some stuff on there, and
Right.
the New Yorkers are like, yay, it just doesn't work.
Right.
And I'm sure the list is long of
Yeah.
celebrity chefs that have tried.
Yeah. Yeah.
New Yorkers are serious eaters. So,
Yeah.
and like I said, if you falter even for just like a couple of weeks, you'll start to lose covers. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Like
That
we
is
have to be
crazy.
on every single night. So, like I said, whether I'm on TV, but does it help? Of course, it helps.
Yeah.
I said to my staff when after I knew I won, we weren't allowed to tell anybody, and obviously we knew that it was going to change everything when I won.
Yeah.
But I said to my staff, like, look, the celebrity is going to get people to come here to check it out.
Right.
but we are going to be responsible for getting them to come back.
Right. Yeah,
And
exactly.
I preach that all the time, still to this day. Again, like with Peasant, it was kind of everybody kind of buzzing, and we took it over. We just opened a wine bar, and people are starting to chatter about it. And like I
Yeah.
said the same thing to that staff. Like the
Yeah.
chatter gets people to come check you out,
Right.
but
Right.
getting them to come back is what makes you have a 14-year anniversary.
Right. Right. Exactly. There was a similar thing in comedy where if somebody gets some kind of publicity and gets, wins like Last Comic Standing or something and goes out, and it's like, okay, you better be ready though when you go out and tour, because
Mhm.
you'll sell tickets that first time through, but unless it's quality, they're not coming back the next time
Yeah,
you
it's
come
the
around.
truth. It's the
Yeah.
truth. Yeah.
So what is your what's on your mind now? Like when you're thinking about your menus, when you're thinking about where to go next, what to do with the like what food wise, what is on your mind?
Well, I mean, right now, spring.
Yeah.
Um, we're getting all the wild stuff in again, which is great. I have two different people that kind of go into the woods and grab all the beautiful wild goodies that are popping up.
Really?
Right now, there's like wild chives and knotweed and taranome and chickweed and green garlic and wild ginger. I mean, it's all the stuff that's
Wow.
coming out of the ground first, and it's
Wow.
like I love it. Um,
What do you mean they go into the woods?
I
Literally?
have like, yeah, I have two foragers, yeah,
Wow.
um, and like I said, they get all the. Right now, the next month is like the most exciting time because it's like everything
Really?
just starts to pop out.
Oh, that's
Um,
amazing. And how much does it change what you're offering? Like, so the forager comes in and they're like, okay, here it is, and for that night or the next couple of nights that you're going to be
yeah,
able to
I mean,
just
perfect
create.
example. I just got two giant bags of wild broccoli rabe delivered.
Ooh,
So now we're
yeah.
doing broccoli rabe specials at both restaurants,
Oh, that's amazing.
and we'll have it for the next 2 days, and then it'll be gone, and then we'll
Right.
see what we get next week. They send out a list of like, hey, I just found this, I found this, do you want this, that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's the
um
coolest.
yeah, it's a fun way to cook. Like I said, spring and summer is a lot of fun. Winter,
Yeah.
you got to kind of dig in a little bit, and
Mm-hmm.
but the spring and the summer, I really go by like I let what's available kind of dictate what we're going to cook.
And is it at this point, you're so established, it's literally your life and your being at this point. Is it pure instinct, or are you do you still like research or get stuff from other
Oh no,
chefs? Like
I
where's
I
the
literally
learning?
I read every morning.
You do.
Yeah, my wife hates it. I have like 500 cookbooks in our apartment. I've been reading a lot of Italian cookbooks as of late for kind of obvious reasons.
Right?
Yeah, I'm always reading a cookbook in the morning.
Do you have a favorite Italian?
Um, I always find myself kind of going back to Paul. I don't know if you know who Paul Bertoli is in
No.
California.
Oh yeah.
He was at Chez Panisse, then he had his own restaurant. Um, but I know it sounds stupid, but like I'll pick up books that I've had for like 10 years and just kind of
Yeah.
read them again.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I've probably read that one the most. It's just fun to read. He's a great writer as well as a chef.
Oh, it's the best. Marcella Hazan?
Of course, yeah, I have her stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
love.
I keep reading that. I don't have the patience to do what she does with vegetables.
Yeah.
like like
There's another one too that I just got kind of introduced to it. It's an old book. And I'm blanking on her last name, but the first name is Diane, and the book is called A Splendid Table.
right?
And it's so good, Italian rustic. It's so good.
Really? All right, I'm
Yeah.
gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up for sure.
Diane Fortley or something like that.
Right? That's hilarious that you've got that many cookbooks.
I have to bring them to the restaurant now because I can't store them in our apartment. And now I have almost too many in the restaurants. Like they're everywhere.
But it's amazing. It's amazing that you can still be learning. Like you could just
Oh
kind of
yeah,
kick back and be like, all right,
I
I'm
could.
good. Right?
I could, but you know what? I don't know how to do it. I think I may have even tried. Like, oh, I'll just let my chefs do everything. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. Not yet, at least.
Yeah.
I still scribble my stuff down on a little notepad, and then I call my guys and we sit down and we talk. And
Yeah.
I just had the meeting, 2 hours ago with my chef about a white asparagus with juniper and brown butter. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think they actually appreciate that too.
Yeah. Oh man, I would imagine. I
You
mean,
know,
yeah, it's
as
gotta be.
much as you want to drive the car yourself, it's still nice to have a partner to do it with.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's a lot to carry. I mean, do you ever get crushed by the weight of the business part of it?
I have a really great team, a really solid partners.
Hmm.
So they kind of take that out of my wheelhouse,
Oh, that's good.
so to speak. I mean,
Hmm.
obviously, I have to pay attention, but
Yeah.
point being, like, let me do what I'm good at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you guys do
Right.
what you're good at, and we'll meet once a week, and we'll have our financial meetings, and we'll do all that. But
Right.
um, and I like I said, I focus on what I'm good at, and
Yeah.
that's being a restaurateur and the chef and um, you know
Yeah. That's so
the
great.
leader.
You're right. Yeah. What's your style when you're handling people?
It's funny. It's evolved over the years.
Yeah.
I think in the beginning, was probably left over from a lot of the guys that I worked with when I was
Uh-huh.
younger, where it was just like, well, if you can't handle it,
Get
get
out
the
of
fuck
here.
out of here. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
tough. You know what I had to deal with. Like that was kind of my early mentality.
Yeah.
Um, and then as I got a little older, I think it was more of like, like, look, if you can't get on this train, like, I don't know
Yeah.
what to tell you. Like, we're moving fast. Like,
Right. Right.
and now I think, kind of COVID and maybe being a dad all kind of happened at the same time.
Hmm.
So I think I'm way more, I don't know, in tune with the fact that, like, I
Yeah.
don't think I need to yell at somebody if
Right.
they chop chives the wrong way.
Right. Yeah, a little
You know what I
perspective.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yes, I think it put life into perspective, and, like,
Yeah.
like, let's also too, like, the crews that I have at both restaurants have, like, stayed through this whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's really become like a really tight family kind of,
Right.
we've been through the ringer. It's like going into a foxhole,
Yeah.
the show's probably not long enough to go through everything that we all went through, as did everybody else in the world.
Yeah.
But I think everybody has, just like, again, like you said, a kind of appreciation, or,
Yeah.
like, all we have to do is get through service tonight. Like,
Right.
no problem. Okay.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
we can do that.
exactly.
Whereas
Right.
that used to be like,
Yeah.
like, "Ah," and now it's just kind of like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't like this. It's like, okay, well, let's figure it out. Let's
Right.
get in another one. Instead of, like,
It's amazing.
smashing the plate. So
Yeah, it's amazing. It'd be great if that holds. You know what I mean? If it doesn't go back to the old way of.
yeah, I think it's gonna hold for me. I don't know if it's gonna hold
Yeah.
for everybody, but
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Do you feel like restaurant culture was evolving anyway without the pandemic? Like, like the 90s, like all those legendary, like you're saying, like those chefs that were known for just being crazy and like drinking like crazy and kind of a little more abusive in the
well,
kitchens.
I think the whole the we'll call it the Me Too movement.
Mhm.
I mean, that changed. That there was like a period of like 6 months where
Yeah,
I don't want to say their names, like some of them are friends of mine, and, like,
right.
that was like, if there was a party going on, like, the party ended
Yeah,
when those
in a big
articles
way.
started to come out.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll ever, not just in the restaurant business. I mean, I don't think it'll ever. Our society is just different now. Like,
Totally.
it sounds crazy, but, like, I technically can't like have a drink with my staff after work now. You know what I mean? Which
Right.
it sucks for the people that weren't doing anything wrong.
Right.
You know, but at the same time, it's like, you know, like I said, the party ended, you know?
Yeah. No.
And I can't, you know, I'm also a little older too. So I don't know, maybe the younger chefs are still kind of hanging out and
right.
But I do know that like once you have a couple restaurants and you have like a company and you just can't do it.
No way. No, exactly. And like you said, you know, it's kind of like in sports too, and the way that people are like coach now. Like there were days when people like grab the face mask and abuse their players and like yell, and it's like we're all kind of evolving, and like these new generations are like, we can get the same things done by actually being cool to each other.
Yeah. There's a bunch of different arguments on that, on both sides, you know.
Yeah.
Like people are too soft now, and then people are too sensitive now, and well, it's better for people's mental health. You know what I mean? So like, there's like,
yeah.
But I don't know. I just try to be like the best that I can do with what I got, and you know, hope that it jives with the people and surround me with people that want to be around that. You know? Yeah.
No, totally. Well, it's great. You can tell that you have a real calm love of it, and there's no
I'm very blessed and lucky, man. You'll never hear me say anything other. Also too, I mean, listen, I get to do what I enjoy doing for a living. Like you do too, right? I mean, how many millions of people are there that, you know, they wake up and they can't stand the fact that they have to go to work. Like,
right, I know, that's the normal story.
You know, so I get to enjoy it. I'm not saying every day is a cakewalk or fun, but I try to enjoy it as much as I possibly can because I know how lucky I am.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, when I get back to New York, when I roll through in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to try and stop in. And if I come in by myself and order the pig dinner, just roll with it.
No problem. We did it for 2 people once, so don't worry about it.
Well, really nice meeting you, Marc. Continued
you too,
success, and we'll circle back with you again shortly.
Yeah, man. You let us know whenever you want to come in.
All right, man. We'll see you soon.
Great. Thanks, bro.
All right, thanks. All right, kids, that's the big show. Thank you to Marc Forgione. I told you he was a cool guy. I can't wait to go get my giant pig dinner from him. It's going to be delicious. I'm really starting to string together a good number of places where I have to follow up just as my duty. You become friends with these people and they want to break bread with you, and that's why we're all here, isn't it? Thank you to Marc. It was a great conversation. I hope all of you out there listening enjoyed it. Keep spreading the word around the world. Keep coming to my shows at tompapa.com. I'm everywhere. I will be in Huntington, New York this Friday, and on and on. Big Vegas show on May 6th at the Encore Theater at the Wynn. Come and see me there for sure, and we will break bread and hug and kiss on the lips because the pandemic's over. All right, everybody. See you real soon.